6 Iranian warships just tried to trap a U.S. aircraft carrier inside the narrowest strait on the planet. America didn't fire a single shot, and Iran blinked first. Stay with me, because what happened in those 45 minutes is one of the most calculated displays of military power you'll ever hear about. I want to be honest with you. When I first read the full timeline of this engagement, I had to go back and reread it twice. Not because it was confusing, but because the restraint involved was almost unbelievable. We're talking about a ship that weighs nearly 100,000 tons, surrounded from 6 angles, a radar lock from a missile guidance system pointing right at it, and the commanding officer never once raised his voice. That's what this video is about. Not just the tactics, the mindset. And if you stick around to the end, I promise you'll walk away with something that goes way beyond military strategy. All right, let's get into it. It's 5:17 in the morning, the Strait of Hormuz. The Combat Information Center aboard the American carrier goes dead silent. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening at once. 6 new surface contacts flood the radar screens simultaneously, spreading across the northern edge of the strait, like a switchblade opening in the dark. Nobody calls them Iranian yet. They're just unknown surface contacts, fast enough to matter, coordinated enough to trigger the alarm. The carrier is holding course through international waters, her massive hull carving a white wake through one of the most strategically critical choke points on Earth. And right then, the classification snaps into focus on the screen. 6 Iranian naval vessels. The threat symbols change color. Speed vectors stretch across the tactical display, like thin red needles aimed directly at the carrier's path. Now here's what most people don't understand about the Strait of Hormuz. A supercarrier cannot just swerve. The channel is too narrow. Commercial oil tankers are moving through it at all times. Any sudden turn risks collision. Any acceleration risks sparking an incident that becomes a global headline before sunrise. So the captain doesn't panic. He doesn't yell. He says 3 things. Hold course, log everything, bring escorts to high readiness. That's it. And I need you to sit with that for a second, because that kind of composure under that kind of pressure is genuinely rare. All right, here's where it starts getting really interesting, because I want to ask you something before I keep going. If you were in that room right now, what would your instinct be? 6 ships closing in from multiple angles, radio silence from the other side, and your ship literally cannot run. Most people's instinct is either to fire a warning shot or to turn away. And both of those would have been exactly what Iran wanted. Keep that in mind. At 5:19, the Iranian formation starts moving into a crescent shape. This is deliberate. 1 ship pushes forward on the bow, 2 spread wide to the flanks, another hangs back to seal the rear. This is a containment maneuver, and the U.S. team recognizes it immediately. The first radio hail goes out. Unidentified Iranian naval vessels. This is a United States Navy warship operating in international waters. Maintain safe distance and state your intentions immediately. Static. They repeat it. More static. And then silence. Now here's something I find fascinating about that silence. Iran wasn't being sloppy. Silence was the tactic. When you don't respond, you force the other side to make assumptions. You compress their decision-making timeline. You make them choose between acting on incomplete information or waiting until it's too late. But the US doesn't bite. They wait. They track. They record everything. By 5:21, the lead Iranian ship is crossing the carrier's forward sector. Still miles away, but no longer running parallel, its bow is angled toward the carrier's projected path. 2 ships behind it are spreading wider, one heading north, one drifting south, pinching the water ahead into a tighter and tighter lane. The closest point of approach drops below 5 nautical miles, and that's when the air in the room changes. Not dramatically. Nobody screams. But every sailor in that CIC feels the shift, because a maneuver that looked like surveillance 30 seconds ago is starting to look like pressure. Real pressure. And this is where I need you to really pay attention. At 5:31, the electronic warfare officer picks up something different from the third Iranian ship. The previous radar sweeps were broad, low power, the kind of thing you could technically explain away as standard navigation. This one is narrow, controlled, pulsing in a repeating pattern. It's a guidance radar, the kind you use to lock onto a target before you fire a missile. The warfare officer calls it to the bridge. Possible missile guidance radar from Contact 3, bearing 289, range 4.3 miles. Dead silence for 1 second. Then the captain says, "Confirm classification. Do not escalate on first emission." Do not escalate on first emission. Think about what that command actually requires from every person in that room. You have a potential missile lock on your ship. Your instinct screams at you to respond, and your commanding officer is telling you, "Wait, verify. Don't let them bait you into firing first." 7 seconds later, the second guidance sweep hits them. Same bearing, same ship, longer duration. It's confirmed. And the captain orders air defense to enhanced readiness, weapons tight. Tight meaning nobody pulls a trigger without a direct order. Right then, at 5:33, 2 FA-18 Super Hornets are catapulted off the flight deck. White steam exploding across the surface, afterburners burning orange in the gray morning air. And this is the part that I think is genuinely brilliant. Those jets are not launched to attack. They are launched to be seen. The Iranian crews watch them climb into the sky. They know exactly what a carrier air wing means, and now they're watching it wake up right in front of them. But Iran isn't done yet, because at 5:38, 2 ships break from the rear of the formation and accelerate hard toward the American destroyer, guarding the carrier's starboard side. The whole trap just morphed. This is no longer just about the carrier. Now they're trying to rip apart the defensive screen. The logic is clean and dangerous. If you can isolate the escort destroyer, you create a window on the carrier's flank. You force the escort to choose between holding its position or turning to face the new threat. If it moves, even slightly, you get the shot you came for. The destroyer does not move. It makes one small rudder correction, just enough to keep itself planted between the Iranian ships and the carrier. Not charging, not retreating, blocking. And up above, the MH-60R Seahawk helicopter is hovering off the Iranian formation's flank, its sensors locked onto Contact 3, recording every single thing happening on that deck. Every covered launcher, every sailor moving near the stern, every tarp that shifts in the wind. Iran doesn't realize it yet, but every aggressive maneuver they make is being time-stamped and packaged into a hard evidence file in real time. Now at 5:36, something happens that I think is the most psychologically calculated move of the entire encounter. The third Iranian ship fires something from its afterdeck. A brilliant flare shoots upward into the morning sky, and for 2 full seconds, nobody outside the automated systems knows what it is. Radar operators brace. Flight deck crews freeze. Every sensor in the strike group starts scanning for an inbound track. Nothing. No missile. No acceleration signature. Just a signal flare. CIC confirms. No missile launch. And the captain says 2 words. Continue tracking. But here's what that flare actually accomplished, or tried to accomplish. It injected raw uncertainty into the American decision loop. It forced every system, every human, every procedure to perform under live fire pressure without any actual live fire. Iran wanted a flinch. They wanted one jumpy reaction, one radar lock, one radio call that came out wrong, anything they could hold up and say, America escalated first. They got nothing. At 5:41, the Seahawk zooms in on Contact 3, and the sensor operator sees crew swarming the covered missile tubes. One sailor pulls back what looks like a blast shield. Another points toward the American destroyer. The targeting radar pulses again. And here's the thing. At this exact moment, Iran's whole play is completely exposed. The lead ship gave away the crossing angle. Contact 3 revealed the radar tactic. The two ships that rushed the escort showed the squeeze play. The rear formation showed exactly where the trap was supposed to snap shut. The US Navy now sees the entire picture, and the response comes not with weapons, but with presence. The destroyer holds the line. The cruiser expands its radar sweep. The Super Hornet shifts its orbit until every Iranian bridge crew can see its shadow against the dawn sky. The Seahawk moves closer to Contact 3, not directly overhead, but close enough to make the message land. We see everything. We are recording everything. We are ready for everything. And then, quietly, Iran starts to fold. At 5:43, Contact 6 tries one last aggressive turn to cut behind the destroyer. The destroyer makes a single clean correction and blocks the angle. At 5:45, Contact 3's targeting radar goes silent. That sharp, narrow, dangerous beam, gone. At 5:47, the lead ship starts a slow, wide turn. Not panicked, not rushed, the kind of turn that lets a commander save face while quietly walking away from a failed operation. And one by one, all 6 Iranian ships begin opening distance. By 5:55, Contact 3, the last one holding, finishes its turn north. The carrier's path is clear. Nobody cheers in the Combat Information Center. The surface warfare coordinator just logs the new heading and keeps watching. The captain steps back from the tactical display and says, "Maintain watch. Recover aircraft and clear." That's it, no speech, no celebration, just the next task. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about what actually happened that morning. Iran came in with a 6-ship ambush designed to force America's most powerful naval symbol to either flinch on camera or fire first in international waters. They had the crescent formation, the radio silence, the radar lock, the signal flare, the escort squeeze. It was a full layered trap. And the US Navy turned it into a data package, every course change logged, every radar emission recorded, every dead radio channel documented, every aggressive maneuver time-stamped from multiple sensors simultaneously. The trap became the evidence, and the carrier never left its heading. Here's your recap because I want to make sure this lands properly. The US held course when every instinct said swerve, stayed silent when Iran baited for escalation, launched aircraft not to attack but to be seen, blocked the escort squeeze without overcommitting, and refused every single opportunity to fire first. 5 decisions. All of them required more discipline than aggression. All of them worked. The real lesson here isn't about warships. It's about what happens when you refuse to let pressure dictate your response. The most powerful move in that entire 45-minute engagement was the one that never showed up on radar. The decision to stay exactly where you were supposed to be. If you made it this far, I genuinely appreciate you. Hit subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. I do these every week and I put serious work into every single one. And the next video is about the 5 most dangerous maritime choke points on the planet and who actually controls them right now. You're going to want to see it. Link is right there. See you in the next one.